So the POL right now holds, I think, about 400,000 Leo, and Leo strategy has like slightly over 2.3 million, I think. And 100% of that Leo is in S Leo. And then the POL does this automatically. And then Leo strategy obviously does this as well for their fund. But all the USDC that they earn from the LeoDex affiliate fees auto compounds into Leo. So that creates permanent buying pressure on Leo. So essentially what happens is assume that between POL and Leo strategy, I think what's logical in the future is that they own probably 50% of all S Leo, which means that half of the USDC earned by LeoDex is actually auto compounding back into Leo and creating permanent buy pressure. Literally every day they're just buying more and more. And by the way, they're compounding. So if you want to compete with them, you also have to compound and buy more Leo. Otherwise, your share of USDC, and I'm talking from the perspective of an individual user, your share of the USDC, the percentage you get is actually going to go down over time because the POL and Leo strategy are going to keep compounding and growing. They might be 25% starting on September 23rd, but then every day it's just going to be another 1%, 2%, 3% higher. And in the long run, they get to 50%, 51%, 55%, 60%. And if anyone wants to earn USDC rewards, it's essentially competitive. Like you have to buy more Leo in order to get more USDC rewards, which then creates more utility for the Leo token. So I think we haven't run, and I was talking to Mitch a little bit pre-show, but if you imagine a future where like 15, 20 million Leo is locked up in Leo strategy and POL, well, that leaves like 10 million Leo for the rest of us. Well, what's going to happen to that other 10 million Leo? It's just going to have to skyrocket in price because, you have this, not only do you have users who want to get access to the USDC rewards and really just the upside of Leo in general, you also have the POL and Leo strategy that are continually compounding more Leo and permanently locking it and taking it out of the market. So, the 10 million that's out there in the market in the future will actually keep dropping as well. And then you also have bridge fees, which are burning more Leo. So that 10 million just keeps going down, down, down. And you'll see kind of a similar impact to what happened with Bitcoin, which is, once the demand started really catching up to where the supply scarcity was, you started seeing that's when Bitcoin went from, $300 to $30,000 was because the scarcity was in place. And once the demand started picking up, really you have to keep increasing the price in order to find sellers. So like right now, there's not that many people that want to sell their Leo at, what we're at now, which is like 12 cents. At 25 cents, there were more people willing to sell their Leo. So that's why we went from 25 to 12. At 50 cents, there's going to be people that want to sell their Leo. So we may go down a little bit. At $1, there's going to be people that want to sell their Leo. But eventually, you run through all those sellers. So at $1, you run through all the sellers. There's no more sellers at $1. Well, now you have to go to $1.25, and then you find all the sellers at $1.25. And then you go to $2, find all the sellers at $2. What happens when you're done with them? You go to $3, and then $10, $100, $1,000, and it just keeps going.
People that hold, Hive-based Leo, from back in the day, because that's really the first wave of sellers, which is probably, where a lot of selling happened on this way up.